Yo, guys, I want you to understand that the competition is increasing, right? In all realms, fitness, business, social media, right? Because that's really where most of the competition is happening nowadays, right? Even though there are plenty of companies that are surviving and thriving without social media, for the beginners and the new business owners and the new creators, etc., whatever, competition is increasing, right? And I want you guys to understand that what I mean by this, especially as a young man, especially for those of you young men out there, right? It's a different game, right? Especially with social media now, right? A lot of you are maybe afraid to show your faces online, regardless of what it is, right? Or maybe you just want to do some baby workouts at the gym. Maybe you want to sleep in. Maybe you want to, whatever it is that you want to do. Understand that competition is increasing, right? And you either compete or you don't, right? Because a lot of you might say you want certain things, but do you really want those things, right? Do you want what comes with those things, the problems that comes with those things, the headaches that comes with those things, even that pretty girl that you might want, right? That's going to bring you a lot of headaches if you don't know how to manage the situation, right? Now, one of the things that I really want to kind of get into on this one as to why competition is increasing and how to actually combat and participate in this competition and actually be one of the winners, right? Because this isn't a competition where you're a winner, right? This is a competition of winners, right? And I want to say you have the top 1%, right? And it used to be that 20% of men got everything, right? And I'm getting this from somebody else, but it used to be that 20% of men got everything, right? They would be the ones that get all the women and whatever, right? And back then, you would assume that a rich guy is just an old fat guy, right? That used to be what most rich guys, that used to be the image of most rich guys, right? But now, with social media, you see that there's a lot of rich guys now, right? There's a lot of wealthy men, millionaires, even billionaires, right? And majority of these dudes are not fat, right? They're in shape, they look good, they dress good, they know how to talk, they're charismatic, they're a well-rounded man, right? That's what you're competing with, right? That 1% is they get access to everything, right? I'm not saying that if you're not a part of that 1%, you won't get anything, right? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what this video is about at all, right? And the reason I'm bringing these points to you is that, you go to the gym nowadays. Let's say back then when I was first getting into the gym, and this isn't even that long ago, right? When I was first getting into the gym, it would still be a lot of older guys, right? And a few young guys in there. But now you're starting to see there's a lot more young guys in the gym, 18 to 20 years old, to 22, 23, 24, 25, right? That's the majority of the age that I tend to see when I'm in there. And they're not just regular guys, they're in shape. And if you go to a high quality gym, these are young guys that are making money and are making good money, decent money that, they can be at the gym at any time of the day, right? Now, these are the guys that you are competing with, right? So some of you might be on your self-improvement journey and you might be, reading a book a day or something like that. Not a book a day, you know what I mean, right? You might be journaling, you might be doing those baby steps, right? Which is fine, right? It helps you get into it helps you build that foundation. But what I want you to understand is that there is another level, right? Every time that you're resting, every time that you're like, yo, I need to wind down, like there's no more time to wind down, especially if you want to compete with the best of the best, right? Now, if that's not for you, that's fine, right? But I also want you to understand competing with the best of the best sometimes mean that you need to work under somebody else, right, for a period of time, or work with somebody else for a period of time, right? Too many of you keep trying to go at it alone, and that's fine, right? In this day and age, there are many possibilities for you to go at it alone, whether you just want to do social media, whether you want to, hustle until you start your own business, that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with seeking mentorship and taking guidance and working under somebody else or working for somebody else, right? Because at the end of the day, majority of a lot of the wealthy people, a lot of the people that do sign checks, they're working for somebody else, right? The CEOs, the CFOs, the CMOs, these are high earners and they're working for somebody else, right? So that goes to show you that there's nothing wrong with that path. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that's the path forever. That doesn't mean that you need to be doing it forever, but you need to be able to do these things for a period of time until you're in a situation where you can go at it alone, right? A lot of you try to go at it alone off rip, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it does come down to making certain sacrifices, right? Pushing the dream out a little bit longer. Because again, tying it back to competition increasing, right? And you saying you want something, but are you even capable of handling those things that you say you want, right? Because most of you aren't even honest with what you really want, right? You might see something on social media and be like, yeah, I want that. But do you, do you really want that thing, right? Are you able to actually, and if you see my eyes darting to the side, it's just me looking at some bullet points that I made. Like, do you actually want those things that you claim that you want, right? Can you handle having those things? Can you? A lot of people get the things that they want, but they're not able to keep them, right? Or they're not able to keep them for long periods of time, right? And it always comes down to making sacrifices and working for a period of time, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for other people, etc. Right? You need to be able to make these sacrifices and continue to work, right? Because you can have everything you want in life, right? And this is a lesson that I always come back to from JT Fox, right? You can have everything you want in life, but not at the same time, right? You can't have a great social life and have a great relationship and a great family at the same time, right? Because having a great social life, that endangers you having a great family, right? Because that means you have to be out all the time, right? Or you can't expect to have lots of money while having a great social life while also having a great family and great business relationships, right? You're gonna have to sacrifice one or two out of those, right? So these are the things that you have to start putting into consideration the more you compete, right? And the more you compete, it also comes back to how long are you willing to play the game, right? Because you don't just win the game. This is a game for life, right? This isn't something that, oh yeah, now I can stop, right? Because you'll lose it, right? I think this is a solid quote right here, right? You don't really get money from somebody else, and you don't really, get a payment or a transfer through, right? What actually happens is you are taking money from somebody else, right? That's the truth. At the end of the day, you're taking money from somebody else. Now, is it a win-win situation? For the most part, yeah, it might be win-win. But let's be honest here, right? A lot of these guys at the top, they want to win, right? They're not afraid of you getting the bad end of the deal. So that means you got to be a fighter as well. You got to be able to compete and negotiate, right? These are skills that you need to build, right? You need to actually be able to manage other people, actually communicate well. Some of you might think you know how to communicate, but your communication skills are not that good, if we're being honest, right? Or your leadership management skills, right? You might these are little skills that you need to start building each and every single day, right? Regardless of what it is, right? Because the guys at the top now, they're not just the old rich guy. They're the old rich guy that's jacked, in shape, taking care of their mental health or spirituality, and they're doing all these things, right? They're a well-rounded man. They're not just a rich guy, or they're not just a fit guy, or they're not just a spiritual guy, right? They're all of the above, right? And the closer you can get to that, obviously it's going to take time. So don't think that, oh, if you're 18 right now, 25, 30, even 40 right now, watching this video, thinking that, oh, you're just all of a sudden going to be this man. Like, those guys, it took them decades to become that guy, right? 10, 20, 30 years or more to become that guy. But if you're not even willing to put in that period of time into doing these things, so why are you claiming that you want the things that they have? Why do you think you deserve the things that they have, right? Because a big component of all of this is you deserve what you get, right? Positive or negative, you deserve what you get, right? If you're eating all the time and you're gaining weight, you deserve to be fat, right? You deserve to not have good, healthy relationships with other people. You deserve to not be able to get the women that you want. You deserve to not be able to fit in a car, right? And, God forbid some tragic accident happens because of you being overweight and you're not able to react fast enough, or you're not able to run away. Well, you deserve the end result of that situation. Whereas if you're somebody who's constantly in the gym, you're putting in work, you're working hard, you're not just in the gym to sit around, talk, or to be on your phone or whatever, you deserve the positives of that, right? And there might be negatives to that as well, right? Because there's no good without bad. Maybe you get hurt in the gym, right? Because you're working out too hard, right? But that's something you deserve because, some people ego lift, right? Where they just want to keep going and going. And I'm pretty sure you've seen a ton of these guys or women getting hurt in the gym because they're ego lifting or they're just doing dumb shit in the gym, right? So these are all things that tie into just one, competition is increasing, and two, you deserve what you get, right? Positive or negative, regardless of the situation, you deserve these things, right? And to kind of continue on some of the points, you have to understand these guys that are well-rounded men that are winning right now, right? And are thriving, they're still working. They're not taking days off. So you might want a day off. You might want 2-3 days off. You might want a vacation from time to time. I'm not saying these guys don't do that, but these guys have orchestrated their lives so that every piece of action they take is making them money. So even though they're out on the yacht, even though they're driving that Lamborghini, they're recording it. Now it's content. Now they're uploading it. Maybe they sell a course. That's making them money. So now they know if they're having fun, as long as they're recording and uploading it, is driving traffic back to the things that they're selling, whether they're digital products or physical products, right? You guys have to understand these guys have figured out how to monetize every area of their lives so that they can do the things that they want to do and still be making money every single second and every single avenue, right? And if you guys hear the wind in the background, it's I'm really close to a window right now, so it's just there's a lot of wind. And to continue, you really have to be honest with what you want, because a lot of you might claim that you want something, but you cannot handle what that's gonna bring, right? And some of you can't even handle the current stress that's in your life, right? Whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's school, whether it's work, whether it's school and work, whether it's school, work, and a girl, right? Or family. Some of you can't even manage or maintain that type of stress, yet you claim that you could handle the things that these guys have. Be honest with yourself, right? If you can't even manage the stress that you have in your life right now, how do you expect to manage when there's a fire in your business that you have to put out that fire, right? Tax collectors are coming because you forgot to pay taxes here, right? So now you got some big tax bill that you got to pay and you don't even know what to do, right? Or maybe you're in debt and you got loans to pay off, right? And you can't even handle that stress right now, right? So imagine when you've got millions of debt that you have to pay off. Now, maybe it's smart debt, right? Maybe it's smart and, you took the loan and exactly, like, you have a cash flow that's paying that loan, whatever, right? That's fine. But that's what these guys are doing. They understand the game and they're able to play the game. And they know how to play the game and keep playing the game. But a lot of you aren't. If you cannot handle the current stress that's in your life right now, if you don't understand how to manage that stress right now, because believe it or not, the guys at the top, they are extremely well at managing stress. They know how to manage stress efficiently. They understand how to do it, right? And they're able to do it day in and out because guess what? Their phone is always ringing, right? Lawyers, people trying to sue them, like things just popping up out of nowhere, right? A lot of you guys can't even if you cannot manage the current stress that's in your life, throw those dreams away, right? I'm gonna just be honest, right? Throw them away. And if you learn how to manage the stress, perfect. Now you just leveled up by 1 point, right? And it's infinity. So this isn't like, oh, now you're level 100 and you're maxed out. No, this just keeps going and going and going and going. Why do you think some of you, right? Maybe you're 18, 20, right? You might be in college right now, right? And you might want this girl, right? You're not the only guy that wants this girl, especially if she's a good quality, beautiful woman, right? Think about this, right? You want her, right? And you probably don't even hit the gym, okay? So let's say you don't hit the gym. You want her, okay? Now this guy that hits the gym also wants her, okay? Now this guy that hits the gym and has money also wants her, right? Now this guy that has money, that hits the gym, that looks good, he knows how to talk, so he has some game, right? He also wants her, okay? Now this guy who looks good, has money, has game, puts in the work every single day, and has a few girlfriends already, also wants her. Okay? That's another guy that you're competing with for that same girl, right? And now look, another guy who's has all those attributes I just listed, but he also has a great network of friends, and he also has lots and lots and lots already, right? Anything she wants, he can. It's nothing to him, right? He can fly her out for a first date, right? It doesn't bother him. He's not a simp, but he just doesn't care. He's like, you know what? I want to take her here. I'm a flyer here, right? He makes it happen. He just snaps. He makes it happen. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna compete against that guy? Oh, I'm the same age as her, bro. This dude has level. He's levels above you, and he wants the same girl that you want. How do you think you're gonna compete with that guy when he approaches that girl? Especially if she's not, even if she's taken, all it takes is one DM from a guy who's just 10 levels above you and understands how to communicate properly, and he's gonna be able to take that girl from you, right? Let me put my phone on do not disturb, right? So a lot of you guys really need to understand that the competition out here is crazy, right? Now you might be comfortable with a 5 or a 6. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I understand that a lot of people, the decisions that they make is because they understand the game. They understand what comes with every level of the game comes with a certain level of competition, right? You make 6 figures a year. Well, now you're competing with all the guys making 6 figures a year. Are you in shape? Do you know how to talk? Do you know how to dress? Do you know how to drive? Do you have a good car, a good looking car, whatever it is? Whatever type of competition you're in, there's other guys just like you that want the exact same type of lifestyle that you want, right? So now the things you're going after, you're also competing with those guys that are going after these things, right? Even if you just want a comfortable home, a good looking home, maybe you have a little garden, you and your wife and your kids, another guy wants that exact same dream, but he's willing to work just a little bit harder than you to get it, right? Maybe he gets it by 25, by 30, 35, 40, right? But maybe you just have that dream of finally having a wife one day, right? And you finally have a nice girlfriend by your side, or wife and kids, and you finally have that nice little house. But it took you twice as long, right? And it's taking you longer and longer. So now let's say by the time you're 60, you might still have that dream, but guess what? Now your pool of choice is starting to die down, right? Maybe the dream house you had, somebody else bought it, right? And maybe you can't even afford to build an exact dream house based on the one that you wanted, right? Because you didn't understand how crazy the competition is out here, right? And I'm not saying this to scare you. If this does scare you, that's fine. You can, stay inside, never go outside, never hit the gym, do whatever it is that you want to do with your life, right? Because let's be honest, this competition, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle this level of competition that's out here right now. Even some of the guys that claim that they can handle it cannot handle it, because all it takes is the right amount of stress, the right level of stress, and from the right person. And guess what? Now they're out of the competition, right? But guess what? Another guy just takes up his spot. That's not you. That's another guy. So you're competing, and some of you, some of you are probably gonna be watching this video or this clip. Maybe this gets clipped down, and you're like, I don't want to compete. I'm doing this for me. Blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? If that's the way you want to go out about it, I'm the only one. That's fine. You're competing against you, right? You're competing against who you were yesterday. That's great. That's fine. But guess what? When you're making that business deal, and that guy wants to win, and he knows who he's up against. He studied your whole background. He studied your entire history. He knows all the types of big deals that you've done. Guess what? He'll outmaneuver you and win the bigger hand of the deal. Or maybe you get nothing from that deal because you didn't know how to negotiate, because you didn't want to put the extra effort to read the extra negotiation books, right? Or to listen to the audiobooks, right? Or to watch a few extra courses on negotiation, right? Or to buy a few extra, buy a mentor to help you with negotiation, right? But he was willing to do that. So now, let's say you're both negotiating for that, $1 million house. He got the house, the car. He gets the car. Imagine you're competing with that guy every single day. Every little decision, even the coffee you want, it's the last one. He takes it because he's constantly competing. He knows who he's up against. He understands the competition and he understands the game, right? And he's willing to put in the right amount of effort to continue to compete, right? Because again, this is a game until the end. This isn't just a one-time thing. Now you've got the car, you've got the house, you've got this and that. You and another guy are both still going to be going after that same woman that you want, right? Or whatever else it is that you may want. There's always 10, 20, 30, 50 more guys that probably want the exact same things that you want. And if you can't handle competition, that's fine. Some of you that were athletes, you might, and if you are an athlete right now, you might be able to handle a little bit of competition. But why do you think there's the NBA? Huh? Why do you think there's the NFL? Now, we might argue that it's not always the best of the best that gets in there, right? Maybe some money helps you get in over somebody else. Maybe something else, somebody else persuades somebody else and now they let you in. That's fine. But even though you're in, you still got to compete with the best of the best. You want to be a top earner, you still got to compete with those guys that also want to be a top earner, right? Not everybody could be a top earner, right? You look at soccer, right? Or football, right? However you guys want to call it. You're still going to have the best of the best. You look at two guys that were literally ruling for the last 10 to 15 years because they wanted to be the best of the best. One of them might have never stated it, right? And some people might say, oh, this guy's naturally gifted. But guess what? He's still competing because he understands. Inside, he may not talk, but deep inside, he has an ego that's telling him to keep going, right? And another point is ego, right? A lot of you understand ego, understand that you have an ego, and sometimes ego might betray you, right? But unless you're able to truly, have control over your ego, you're never going to win, right? Because there's times where your ego stops you from making the right decision, or your ego stops you from listening to the right person, right? Because you thought you knew better, or you believed you knew better, right? So now that guy who was able to control his ego, right? He shut his ego down. He accepted a little bit of disrespect for a little bit of time, right? Because let's be honest, sometimes you do have to take disrespect from people who are in better positions than you just so you can get to the same position as them, right? If you're not able to turn off your ego, shut it down, accept a little bit of disrespect, or work that crappy job for a little bit, well, guess what? You won't be able to compete with the guys that are willing to do that. Because there are guys, best believe it or not, that if they lost it today, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get it back. If it's working that shitty job, they'll work that shitty job, right? Regardless of what it is that they have to do, they're willing to do whatever it takes, right? Most of you aren't willing to do whatever it takes. Most of you can't sacrifice, a few extra hours of the day to continue working, right? Or you have a little fear of something and you're not able to sacrifice that fear because, it scares you so much that you can't walk and take the walk and keep walking and do whatever it is that you need to do, And I want to end this with, it all starts with what you want, right? And it all starts with being honest with what you want. Because most of you are not honest with what you say you want, right? And most of you aren't even willing to make the necessary sacrifices to get what you want, right? And the more honest you are with yourself and with what you really want, the easier it's going to be for you to get exactly what you want. If it's just a nice, easy job, a nice, easy life, a good wife, you can get that, right? She may not be the best looking one, and you may not have the best looking kids, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's literally just deciding what you want and being honest with what you want, right? Because not everybody wants the same thing, right? Not everybody wants the same thing. And it all starts with being honest with exactly what you want. So look, if this video resonated with you, maybe it's pushing you to get out of bed or pushing you to start, working harder and just putting in more, sacrificing the joys right now, right? Because I understand a lot of us, we've been in this game for a long time and it beats at you every single day. But sometimes you just got to sacrifice a little bit longer and be a little bit more patient, because the more patient you can be while continuing to work hard every single day in and out, you're waking up early, you're staying up late, whatever it is, to make sure you get what you need to get done today. You're behaving as if today is the last day you'll ever get to work or you'll ever get to do what you need to do. Then guess what? You're going to be that much closer to getting all the things that you want. All right. So look, if this resonated with you, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe, comment your questions, or shoot me a DM on Instagram. That's it from me, guys.